So today I thought, since it's already the end of September, we would start on the pattern that I bought from the Quilted Cow, Patty's Pumpkin Patch. Now, the fabrics that I chose from her, they were a kit. The pattern was separate, and the fabrics were already pre-cut and together. So this is what I chose. So this will be the stem. This will be the small pumpkin. This will be the medium and the large. And I'll probably do the large in the more aqua color and the medium because, you know, 1, 2, 3 size. So anyway, but these are the 3 fabrics that she had chosen, and I liked them. I thought I liked those colors. They don't match my house at all, but I sure do like them, so I got those. All right, so first things first, let's start about making a template. Now, you don't have to do this. I'm not gonna leave this on here but for a split second because this is a bought pattern, and I'm not going to share the Quilted Cow's pattern. You'll need to call them. Like I said, it's called Patty's Pumpkin Patch, and you can get it from the Quilted Cow. Definitely the one in Branson West because that's where I got mine. Okay, I can tell you, you're going to need a 1/2 yard. It says for the large, 1/2 yard for the medium. You're going to need a fat quarter for the small one and a fat quarter for the stems, and then you'll need some stuffing. All right, so I'm just going to pop this down here. That's for the small one and the stems. And then this is for the medium and the large. Now, how I do my templates. I buy this big old jumbo artist pad. It's pretty cheap. It comes from Walmart, or it used to. And it's not really good color watercolor paper. Sorry, it's just not. It's really quite smooth for watercolor, and it doesn't hold water very well. But if you turn it over on its back side, it's completely smooth, and it's quite thick. I don't know if you can see the thickness. That's the rough side. That's the smooth side. Okay. So what I do with it is I lay my templates on it. Let me see here. I'm gonna do the stems. That won't matter. So I just rough cut. A pattern piece. And by doing it this way, if you had something that you might want reversible, I mean, a pumpkin won't matter, reversible or not, it doesn't make any difference. But I take it and I glue it onto this thing. And I just use a glue stick. I use a lot of glue though, okay? Make sure you get the edges real good. Everything. Make sure you just get everything real good. And then I put it down, and I really push it so it's stuck well. Probably if I had a brayer, but I'm not a scrapbooker, so once I do that, then I just take my scissors and I just cut along the line. You can hear as I'm cutting how thick it is. I know it's always include the line, don't include the line. It's always so confusing. But whatever you decide to do, just do it, be consistent in it. Okay, so here's my first piece. And then all I have to do, because it is really thick. So this is great, inexpensive template material I know the plastic stuff is great, but it's a little thin. So and it's quite expensive, so this might be an option for you. I'm gonna finish all these templates and then we'll get back together. So I went on and I made the templates. You don't have to make the templates. You can just cut out, if you buy the pattern, you can just cut out the pattern pieces. You can make a copy of the pattern pieces so you leave your pattern intact and cut, you know, your paper pieces. I decided to just trace them. I don't know, I didn't want to you know, do the rotary cutter because it is curved. So that's the small one. You're gonna need 6 of each, so I left this double. Now I marked, it had some lines here. I marked it on this side. I haven't marked it on the other side. I'll mark it once I cut it out. And here's the 3 stems. There's lots of fabric here, so obviously you're gonna have tons of stem fabric. So let me move these to the side. So here's the large one. So what I did with the large one is I took the ½ yard and I ironed it long and then folded it in half lengthwise because this is sort of directional. Now I've lined it up here and pressed it. So when I cut it, I will get 2. I did not make the hole in this one, so I'll have to go back and do that. Okay, so I'm gonna flip this upside down because, like I said, her pattern is her pattern. And I'm just gonna trace it. I'm using a permanent marks a lot because I will cut on the edge or right at it. So every time I cut, there will be 2. And by placing this center here on the fold, we should be good. Okay, so those 6 are marked. And we'll leave this over here. Then the way I did this one, the medium one, I did the same thing. I ironed it lengthwise, but I came back and I just doubled it back as high as I needed for the medium one to fit. So I would have a strip of fabric I could use for something else. Again, let's mark the hole. I think that's where you're supposed to stop sewing. I haven't read all the instructions yet. Well, I did, but I didn't see it say that, but I'm gonna assume that's what that's for. It probably says it and I just read over it. I'm sorry, I'm a browser when it comes to reading. When I get in trouble, that's when I go back and read the details. Okay, all right. So we would draw these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the pins and I'm going to pin these together because I don't want them slipping while I cut. So it's going to pin in a little bit so I don't have to move them to cut. Just get you a good pair of paper scissors to do that. I mean paper, my goodness, Blenda, get you a good pair of your fabric scissors to do this because it's going to be a bit thick. If you don't want to cut that many layers at a time, just do 1 layer and just draw it 6 times. Here they all are. Oh, extra pins. Pinned together. I use an excessive amount of pins, I know. So let me grab my scissors. fast. Okay, guys, so I'm just going to continue along here. Let's do these next. So I'm just going to put this on the side. That's a pretty good piece of that. So if you already had yardage at home that you wanted to use, I think that you could probably use scraps for the stems. Obviously, you probably could even use a smaller piece like a fat eighth, because obviously this is a lot of fabric left over. All right, so there's our 3 pumpkins. I'm gonna mark those corners, or those tips, I guess I should say, and I'll meet y'all with the sewing machine in a bit. So I went on and made the first pumpkin. I made the smallest one because I figured it'd be the most fiddly. It really wasn't fiddly. I didn't press my seams opener out. I should have. So it's a little maybe bulky looking. But all in all, I think it's cute. And I may, tie a little ribbon around it, or some, what is that called? That raffia or jute or something, just to give it a little something else. But I think it's really cute. It's a good size because this is the small. And let's see if we can get a little measurement on that. Let's see. So if I set it on here, she's about 5.5 inches across. And pumpkin itself is about 5 with the stem. It's right at 7. So that's a nice size little pumpkin. So I'm just going to set it on the side. Okay, so a couple of things I learned in doing this. One, when you cut your stem, well, all your fabrics really, put them right sides together. Draw on the back side. And then when you cut them out, they're already in position to sew. You won't have to take them apart, flip them, and then repin them. So that will save you quite a bit of time, especially the stems. It will also work on your wedges because you'll sew 2 together and 2 together. So you'll have 2 sets already nested together, so to speak, because you know how they kind of stick together when you do that. And then you've already got them pinned to cut, so you can just leave them pinned to cut. You won't have to repin. Just a couple little things. I did mark my 1/4 inch stop and start point. I did not reinforce it on the small pumpkin. So when you are doing your pumpkin, when you put your needle down, take a couple stitches and come back, reinforce that. Because when I went to add the 3rd piece to it, it kind of pulled apart on me, and I think that might have been part of the problem with the way it looked at the top. Also, I may have overstuffed this one a bit. I don't know. So basically, you're just going to sew from the point you marked that's on the pattern to the point at the bottom on 2 sets. Then you will sew a 3rd wedge to each of those. Now this does have an up and a down, and I just realized that. Okay, so these are together, right? And these are together, right? So when I go to add this 3rd set, I need to make sure that the pumpkins are in the right direction. Also, I did not iron the, well, I didn't really have a crease in that one, but I didn't iron the crease out, so I'm doing that real quick. Okay, so I'm gonna set that aside. So let's just go ahead for both pumpkins real quick and sew the stem, because that's a little bit of a step of its own. It's not hard, very easy. So I'm just sewing with a 1/4 inch. Oops, hit the wrong button. I think pins are your best friend. Now you may be a person who sews a lot of curves with your quilting, and if you are, that you probably wouldn't need to. Okay, we'll stop there. I'll turn it. You wouldn't need to pin probably if you were proficient at curves. I'm not. So I pinned. Pin curves will be something else I'll have to conquer while we are working together. All right, so let me get all these little threads trimmed here. Now, it did not say in the pattern to do this, so nowhere did it say to trim your corners, but I'm going to trim my corners. I did on the other one, so I gave a little haircut there just so it'll not have so much bulk in those corners because we want them to look nice. Also, it did not say to clip your inside curves or your outside curves, but I'm going to clip mine. Just be careful, don't go all the way to the stitch line, okay? I don't have my garbage can sitting by me like I'm gonna do. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're just going to turn these inside out. On the small one, I had to use a little turning tool to get it to go, but these are a little bit bigger. Well, let's see if we can do this, if we can open it. Okay, there we go. And I just had a little crochet hook, so I'm just going to use that. So we're just going to push it all out. I'm going to run it along the edge of this seam. Probably would help if you would sew with the color of your stem and your pumpkin. Okay. And then I'll do the same on the medium one. There we go. And all right. Now the next thing it tells you to do is to stuff them. I did not overly stuff mine because you gotta have it flat on the bottom so that you can sew it closed. And you're gonna sew it closed oh, it's just all slippery slidey there, not wanting to go in. You're gonna want it can't get it in there, y'all. Okay, there we go. Get a little bit started and we'll be fine. You might want to try a little smaller piece. So I'm just going to use this to kind of push it up in those corners good. Make it look nice and neat. And then we're just going to sew that close. Now I'm not going to use a full 1/4 inch on that. I'm going to use a little bit, well, a whole lot less, narrower, simply because I want to be able to catch it in the seam and it not show from the top. That was part of my problem. It was showing from the top. Okay, guys, so. And let's get a little bit going over here on this side. And put a little bit more in that one, just a little bit to the bottom. I'm gonna have to go get some more stuff in. I don't have enough stuff in to stuff the 2 other pumpkins. That's strange. I've been packing that stuff around for years. Now I don't have enough. Okay. So, all I'm going to do, let's get all this out of the way. I'm going to make this flat like that. I might put one pin in it, just across here to keep it closed while I get started. Same here. I'm just going to push that all in, make it flat. Maybe another one in this one. It's a little wider. Okay, so I'm just going to put this underneath here. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just going to do maybe 1/8 of an inch, something like that. Not a lot. I'll just snip them two apart from one another. Catch all these edges. You don't want any of that hanging out, because when you go to insert it in the pumpkin, ooh, that's a mess. That's where it messed up at the beginning. Don't want any of that hanging out. I'm gonna have to vacuum. Okay, so here's our large stem. After we sew it in, we can kind of push it back down. But for now, leave it pushed up, okay? Because you're going to have to insert it. All right, so we're going to do the medium. Let's get started on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert my needle in that dot that I drew, okay? And then I'm just going to follow along with 1/4 inch. Not going really fast, just taking my time. These would make great things to set around your house, but I think also they make great little gifts if you're going to Thanksgiving somewhere, or you have some kind of event, or I know, you know, just it'll make a nice little decoration. I do like pumpkins. Take that bottom pin out. And I am going to stop where that is. And like I said, I should have reinforced that top end, and I did not. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back to that beginning, because I learned the last time. And I'm going to realign that right on top of where I sewed. And I'm going to sew a couple stitches and reverse a couple stitches. Okay. Now, set that one aside and let's grab the next one. So we got both of those sides open. So the next thing that we need to do, let me get rid of them threads. Get them out of my way. Is we're going to open this up, okay? And this will be the top. And this will be the top, okay? So, in the past, when I've done these pumpkins like this, I'm going to give this a little press and see what happens. So that's our two pieces. So when we sew this one, since this is directional, we want to make sure that the top is to the top, okay? I'm glad I noticed that, because I'd have been very sad. So we're going to line up all of the little dots where we got started before, and put a pin in there. Okay, in here. I just give it a little shake, just to kind of line it up there a bit. And I'm gonna well guys, I'm gonna get it. Okay. Let's put a pin in that end. And let's go ahead and line up this end. And we are going towards this direction. I don't know if that does or doesn't make a difference, but okay, so like I said, if you were someone who'd sewed curves, this would probably be nothing for you to just throw it in there and whip on around. I can't tell you, it's been a long time since I put a curve under my sewing machine. We'll do some curves though. I mean, I'm learning. No sense in being afraid of something, just dive right on in. All you can do is make a mistake. And that is not a big deal. I don't like the way that lined up, so I'm gonna move that over. Okay, I don't want no bubbles in it. And this side. Okay, so this one's ready to sew. Let's get this one. So this is our top, and this is our top. Okay. Okay guys, so let's see what we can do to work this in. So I'm gonna start it right there on the black dot. Okay, I'm back. So here's our two pieces. So we want to make sure that our pumpkins are all going in the same direction, up and up. So the next step, so since this is the top, and that's been determined because our pumpkins are going up, what you're going to do is you're kind of going to turn one cupped around the other. You're going to take, this is the medium, we're going to take that medium seam. I don't think it matters which direction it goes. I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm going to find the middle of that, or the close to the middle of the stem. It ain't got to be exact. And then I'm going to find this here, close to the middle. Okay. And I'm going to get a pen and we're going to look and see how close. We are pretty good on that. So I'm going to put a pin holding that middle. Okay. And then we're going to just work ourselves around. Now I'm going to pull up another piece of the stem because we've got to make sure we get it all in the seam, okay? So I'm going to pull it up here like that. Make sure I don't have no bulk or nothing that ain't supposed to be in there. And then I'm going to put another pin in it going in this direction because this would be the direction I'm sewing. Just double check you don't have no material twisted or caught in there, okay? And then I'll put one more right here. I know that's an awful lot of them at the top, but I want to hold that stem in place. Maybe not. Okay. Okay, so let's just go a couple in this direction. Put my pins over here closer so I don't have to reach so far. And I am just going to literally pin around this entire little pumpkin, this outer seam. Now when we get closer to the bottom, I left my opening closer to the bottom, would be a little bit underneath. So let me go ahead and pin that bottom. I think if you don't want to iron your inside seam, you don't have to. But if you don't, then what I suggest is that you at least push your seams down here somewhat going in the same direction. And when you come around, make sure you're taking a full quarter down here, okay? Don't just guess at it. Because I think that's what happened on that one too. I didn't have a full quarter down there and I had some thread show. Okay, so what I normally do, if I have where I'm going to leave my opening, I change my pins to a different color, a different type of some sort. So that way I know when I get to that pin, I am to do something different. Oh, this thread keeps getting caught there. Okay guys, let's do the top over here. So we still have this side of the stem that needs to be caught in the seam allowance. It's a little fiddly, only because, you know, you don't want to catch too much of that stuff, and really you'd prefer not to catch any at all. Okay. And you don't want to catch any of this back part of your pumpkin in it either. Bend up, there we go. All right, we should be good now. This whole side can be pinned because we don't need to worry about leaving an opening on this side. It's going to be a good sized pumpkin. I don't think I'm going to have enough stuffing. Ow. Well, we hadn't had rain here in quite some time, and we did get a bit of rain last night, which I'm thankful for. Looks like it's trying to clear up now. It's still really dark in the distance, but... Okay, now I'm going to re-look at this bottom because I got a little extra here. So I'm going to assume that kind of goes into that bottom. And I just missed it. Ow. And let's look on this side because we don't want no sadness when we get around here. Okay. There we go. So we're all pinned. So we'll start here and we're just going to sew all the way around. When we get to this up here, we'll just make sure that we're catching our pumpkin stem. So all the way to this point, we will reinforce on both of these points. So we'll have something, you know, it'll be strong there. So when we're stuffing and turning, it won't bother us. It won't come loose and make us sad. Because I get sad when mine pulls apart. Okay, guys, let me see if I can get this somewhat flat. If you forget to reinforce, don't worry about it. Just whenever you get through with the whole thing, just go back and sew over a couple of stitches. It's all right. You haven't messed nothing up. And as we're going around, we're just going to kind of turn it. It probably would be nice if you had a sewing machine where you could drop the arm and do like a sleeve or something like that. But this sewing machine, when I bought it, I didn't really think about that, and it does not have that situation with it. So you're pretty much a flat sewer if you're using this sewing machine. Okay, guys, so we left our hole where we're going to turn. So now this is what I did last time. When I reached in here, I grabbed the stem. So let's have a peek. So as you look at this stem, you can see I didn't do good catching it right there. Here I did, there I didn't. So I'm just going to stick it back in there. That's what I did on the other one. Okay. I'm going to come back over here, make sure everything's out the way. I'm going to start back just a bit. And then I'm going to come forward. Put me a little reinforcement. And then I'm just going to make sure I catch a little bit more. Then I'm going to back stitch. And now let's have a look at it. And you ain't hurting nothing doing that. Okay, now let's have a little look. Okay, now that's better. Okay, I still see a little bit of the pumpkin there in the middle. But you know what, I'm not gonna worry about that. So I just used the stem, kind of pulled it through, and then everything can kind of just follow. This one's much bigger, so it's a lot easier to deal with. Okay, guys, so there is pumpkin number 2, which is the medium size. I got some stuff in here, so we're going to use what I got. I don't think it's going to be enough. So this might have to be finish it at a later time kind of situation. But let's do as much as we can here together right now. And then we might have to do a I'm back kind of situation. I know all this has got to go in here. Every bit of it. I know a lot of people use little wads, and they just put them in little wads. I haven't had a lot of success doing just little wads. When I get through, my stuff's always in little wads on the inside, and it feels lumpy. So I try to put as big a piece in as I can put in. But, well, that's all I got. My basket's empty. All right, so as you can see, I'm gonna need a lot more stuff. Y'all, this pumpkin's huge. How big's the big one gonna be? I love it. I'm gonna have to hide these for my puppies. They're gonna want my pumpkins. So I'm just gonna stop right here. Well, I'm back, and as you can see, I got some polyfill. It's a big old bag. I don't know, that's gonna last me for years and years maybe. But anyway, let's get these stuffed. That's what we're here for. Let's see how these turn out. Look how big. She is a big girl. Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit more because she's kind of got a hollow spot there. I don't think they're supposed to be overly stuffed though, either. Put it here. Oh, there's plenty of room up in there. Get another wad. Yeah, I think that's enough in this one. Okay, guys, so they're kind of stuffed. Well, they are stuffed. Okay, like we talked about. This one's finished. I got to do this one, but I had this color thread already on the needle from this one, so I decided to go ahead and do this one first. Just a couple things. If I were to do these again, I would definitely line my fabric with some SF101 or something like that, just to give a little more stability. Also, where they come together here, where I'm going to sew up the seam, the opening that I left to stuff with, I would probably put a little bit of fusible web there, so I could just use the fusible web to press it clean, press it closed. It'll also give it a little more stability there. But the pattern is a great pattern as it stands. It is it's easy to do, as y'all saw, and the instructions are good. I didn't see any problems with the instructions. I don't know if y'all can see this or not. I'm gonna try to turn this around. I'm just doing a ladder stitch. I guess you call this a ladder stitch, where you just go like in and you go straight across and down a little bit, and then we'll take out the first pin. I just kind of pinch it, and then I just go straight across from that, down a little bit, out. Try not to stick yourself in your finger. It hurts. And then just go straight across. I'm just going to work myself all the way down like that. When you're going across, you want to try to stay inside the fold. Okay, that's pretty. So I still have to sew the orange one. I'm going to do that in a minute. But you can see, these things are huge. Let's grab a ruler here. It's a 12-inch ruler. So this one is about, well, it would help if I put it on the right end of the ruler, 9 inches wide by, I'd say 7.5 to 8 tall. And the big one, goodness, that is 9.5 to 10 by 8.5 tall. These things are large. So anyway, guys, that's them. And I think that the pattern is great. So if y'all get a chance to get that pattern from the Quilted Cow, go ahead and do so. It was not hard, and I hope y'all will join me again for the next project. It will be a Christmas project. And remember to always be yourself.